Now we get to move on and study quadratics. So we're no longer going to be talking about straight lines. If you have a graphing calculator, go ahead and go to y equals and type in x squared and then hit graph. If your stat plots are turned on, you'll need to turn them off, and you might need to press zoom 6 to center your window at 10 by 10. But when you do that, or if you don't have a graphing calculator, you're going to get something that looks like this. So go ahead and sketch that on the graph. This is called the parent function for quadratics. It's the parent because it's just plain old y equals x squared. There's no other numbers added or subtracted. There's no parentheses. It's just the plain one, so it's the parent function. In words, we could say that this is a U shape, otherwise known as a parabola. And I want to pay close attention today to where the vertex is. The vertex is the dot at the bottom, and you can see that vertex is right in the middle of the graph. So we'll say the vertex is at the origin, which is 0, 0. All the other graphs we look at, we're going to be taking that parent function and moving it around the graph. These next examples are going to take that parent function and we're going to alter the equation. So the first equation, we've added 3 to the x squared. So what's going to happen, if you can type it in your calculator, that's great. If not, this is what you'll see. You'll see the same shape, but instead of having the vertex at 0, 0, the vertex has been moved up 3. Vertex moved, it didn't move left or right, it just moved up 3 units. All right, now for the next example, we have x squared, so we know it's going to be the parabola shape, but this time we subtracted 3. So if you type it in, or if you just copy down what I'm doing, you'll see the same shape. It's still a parabola, but this time, instead of the vertex being at 0, 0, the vertex moved, and the words we would say would be down 3 units. So if you look at what's happening, when you add 3, you move up, and when you subtract 3, you move down. This should make you think of when we first studied transformations during Chapter 1. Now our transformations take the original, we still have the x and we have the squared, but this time inside parentheses we have a minus 3. So if you type all of that with the parentheses into your calculator, into y equals, you should see a graph that is moved to the right 3 units. It's still a parabola, but instead of the vertex being at 0, 0, when we have the minus 3, the vertex moved to the right 3 units. All right, now let's do the same thing, but with the other example. We still have x, we still have the squared, so we know it's going to be a parabola, but this time we have a plus 3 inside the parentheses. So if you type it in your calculator exactly the way you see it and hit graph, or if you just copy down what I'm doing, you'll see a parabola where the vertex, and this is for the equation with the plus 3 at the end, the vertex moved to the left 3 units. So this should also sort of ring a bell from the first time we studied transformations. When you have something inside the parentheses, when we had the minus 3, we move the opposite of the way you would think. Normally negative 3 means to the left, but we do the opposite, which is move to the right. Same thing with the plus 3. Because it's inside the parentheses, even though it's a plus 3 and you normally think of positive numbers going to the right, we're actually going to move the opposite way to the left. When the numbers are outside the parentheses, like the examples up here, they move the way you think they would move. So the plus 3 moves up and the minus 3 moves down. So those are the 4 possible moves. Now let's put them all together. When we put the two types of equations together, when we have x and a squared, we know it makes a parabola. If we have a h on the inside of the parentheses, the numbers inside the parentheses, so the h, makes the parabola, the vertex, move right or left. Right or left. How do we know it moves right? If you see a minus sign. How do we know if it moves left? If you see a plus sign. So remember, inside the parentheses, it's the opposite sign. When we have a number outside, so the k, it's not inside the parentheses, it's at the end, the k makes the parabola vertex move up or down. So, or down. It moves up if the sign is positive in front of it, and it moves down if the sign is negative. So let's try these examples. We have an x and a squared. I haven't mentioned anything about the 3 out front, so don't worry about that. But you can see we have a minus 2. So it's going to move the opposite way, left or right. So normally we think negative is to the left, but we're going to do the opposite, and we're going to move to the right. So the vertex will be at not negative 2, but positive 2, and the numbers on the outside are true to sign, so a positive 1. So really all you do is you flip that sign, and you keep that sign. So let's see if you can get the vertex for the next one. If you flipped that sign to negative and you kept that sign at negative, your vertex would be at -1, -3. All right, now we'll put these all together. First, we're going to identify the vertex. So I'm going to look and see what's inside the parentheses for the vertex. I don't see anything. That means this parabola is not moving anywhere, left or right. Next, I see a -3 after the x squared. That means that the parabola has moved down 3. So we can take the original. The original is right here. It's already been graphed for you. The vertex is at 0, 0. And we're going to make a new parabola where the vertex is 0, -3. So -1, -2, -3. It falls off a bit. But there's the vertex, and there's the new parabola. So we've taken care of B. The last thing we have to do is describe the transformation. So we say, and always write this in terms of the vertex. The vertex moved, and then you just say where it went. In this case, down 3 units. Let's see if you can try the one next to it. Hopefully you recognize the -4 was inside the parentheses, so it'd switch to positive. There was no number added or subtracted at the end, so I filled in a +0. That means it didn't move up or down. So I just took the original vertex and I moved it 4 units to the right, and then I wrote that out in words. All right, now we have 2 moves in 1. So we have our x squared. We know it's a parabola. We have a +3, so I know for the vertex that's going to be a -3. We have a +1, so I know that's going to stay a +1. So I have the vertex, and all I have to do is move there. So I'm going to move to the left 3 and up 1. And that's where the new parabola is. In words, we can say the vertex moved left 3 and up 1. All right, you try the one right next to it. For the last one, you should flip the signs, so it's +2, keep the sign, -1. So you move to the right 2, down 1, and draw your parabola. That's it.